after spending, you know, 13 years in the NBA, learning about Earthlings, as you said, learning about different people, learning about how people operate and how they think, how they feel, how they move, um, the intellect within inside of humans, learning about how people formulate their thoughts, about their opinions that they have from what they saw, like learning about how people, made these evaluations and calculated, so calculated, and then going to China, big whirlwind, big whirlwind, because now it's like, okay, from you went from New York to Atlanta, Atlanta to Minnesota. Now you're going someplace where they don't speak the same language as you. So how about that, buddy? Let's see you figure that one out. And I think for me, coming to China was more of like at that time, me having the opportunity to be able to find myself, learn about myself, grow within myself. And in that process, when I came to China, um, I literally was like, I just want to play basketball because I was at that point because I was in such a disarray of so many different moving pieces with the Knicks and going to Boston, not being able to perform the way how I wanted to perform, and then not playing for a while, and then now I'm getting the opportunity to play. So when I got here, I was super depressed. I was basically, you know, in a space where I didn't want to play basketball. A lot of things weren't going in the way how I had wanted. So I was like, man, I'm getting this opportunity to go play basketball in China, and here I am, you know, amongst people who I can't communicate with, but they showing me mad love. You know what I'm saying? From the moment that I landed, the moment that I got to China, it was nothing but love, and it's been that way ever since.
Mm. It's I remember that entire movement. I remember everything on Ustream. I read an article in like the New York Times from those years ago when you went on Ustream, and they literally documented everything you said. That it was like he said he liked Bugs Bunny more than whatever. And now everybody is going live all the time, but we had never seen an athlete going live.
Mm,
And I remember, was it like Ustream.tv?
mm.
And
First,
I just felt like you did so
it
many.
started out with Justin TV first, which is Twitch
Oh my
now,
gosh.
and then I went to Ustream, and I went to Ustream because the dude Justin, he didn't want to play ball with me, and I was like, all right, well, I'll go on another platform. That's funny though.
Unbelievable.
Really.
I mean, yeah, you were figuring out platforms before people even knew they existed. And
Hmm.
now it's a billion-dollar industry.
It's interesting because when people formulate their opinion about how they feel and what they think based upon what they were told, there's literally no stopping it until something like this happens. But me, I was the type, I didn't feel like I didn't care enough for everybody to know that I was listening to a gospel song and my dad passed away and I was thinking about that. It didn't really matter to me how other people thought or felt about me feeling the way how I felt. Because that's my feeling, that was my moment. And it wasn't where it it distraught me to where I collapsed and I was, you know, about to, I said I wanted to kill myself, but I was like, I'm still here. I didn't do it. I said me feeling like I want to kill myself and me going to kill myself is completely different. So you misread me saying, yeah, I feel like I want to kill myself because that's how I feel. Because I didn't want to deal with what it was that I was dealing with. Mental illness is a real thing. And my mental at the time when I lost the people who I love, that was my feeling with my dad. And then and then when we buried my dad, after we buried my dad, my mom checked into the hospital and she was on her deathbed. And I was just looking at her like, come on, laughing, like, come on, man, there's no way you're about to do this. It's like, it's no way.
Wow.
And the doctor was like, it's not really looking good. And I was like, what? And it was like, this is normal when a spouse loses, when they lose a spouse at this age. This is a normal thing that happens. And my dad and my mom, they were married for over 50 years. So, the ideology and what I grew up, thinking and learning from being in a household where I had my brothers and sisters, I had my mother and father, even though we were in the projects, my mom and my dad never made it feel like that. So we were a really close-knit family. And then when the leader went down, it was like you could feel the collapse. You know what I'm saying? And that's when, I started to basically parallel myself with, my family members, and we pushed each other to get through what we were going through because
Hmm.
it was a brand new experience.
And now, 2 decades later, your son is a preferred walk on at Cal Berkeley,
Hmm.
one of the highest institutions in the world,
Hmm.
across the country from Coney Island, from coast to coast. Your son is now going to be trying to play basketball with the Cal Golden
Hmm.
Bears. That's insane.
It is. It's great. And we talk about it. My son was just here. We were shooting a commercial for one of the milk companies here, and he flew here, and we were talking about his transition into going to school, and he fell into a very peculiar situation with him going, going through COVID, and then he had surgery on his hip, so he literally missed like 2 or 3 years, like about 2.5 years, 3 years, where he wasn't even able to play high school basketball. So I was telling him, I'm like, dude, for you to get this opportunity, one, to be able to go to Cal, one of the most prestigious schools that you could possibly go to as far as academics, for you to get accepted into the school, one, right, for you to get accepted, and then for you to have the opportunity to be able to go play after you not having the time that every other kid had playing high school basketball, getting ready to go to college. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't even imagine only playing 3 years of high school basketball. I was like, man, my just basically my freshman year, I missed my sophomore, junior. So it's like for you to get this opportunity, it shows your work ethic. It shows, that you've been positioned, as far as your academics to be able to be placed in a situation where you have the opportunity to go to a school such as Cal. So it's like it's a blessing. It's a blessing, and you have the
Hmm.
opportunity. You don't have any pressure. It's not like you're a kid who got a major scholarship and you're top top recruit, and projections is for you to go top whatever. I'm like, you're not in that situation. I was like, so I told him when he was having it when he had his surgery, I was like, dude, you're a late bloomer, and I have to tell your son that it's hard, but the reality is, if I don't tell you, you won't know because you will think and believe something else. So for him to be able to have this opportunity to go to Cal, we're super thankful.